You're listening to WMSP, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. The following public events broadcast was made possible by the Pennsylvania Historical and Museum Commission at the William Penn Museum in Harrisburg. We take you now live to the William Penn Museum for a concert by the Emigsville Band of York County.
Good afternoon. We are broadcasting live from the William Penn Museum in downtown Harrisburg inside Memorial Hall, and this afternoon's concert with the Acme Cornet Band of Emigsville, Pennsylvania. I'm Doug Evans. We're here with Stanley Nelson, and we have the program of music in front of us. The band is under the direction of Marlin Ryan, and quite a program of music we have indeed this afternoon. So let's begin the concert and go now to the band for our first piece.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Emigsville Band under the direction of Mr. Marlin Ryan. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. For its first number this afternoon, the Emigsville Band would like to play for you John Clore's The Billboard March. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. For you out in the radio audience, as you can see, we're playing before a live audience this afternoon. We thank you for your applause. We'd now like to introduce our solo trumpet player for this afternoon, Mr. Barry Leader. Barry just recently graduated from the York High School in York, Pennsylvania, and he hopes to be playing in the U.S. Navy Band this fall. Barry would like to play for you C.L. Barnhouse's Rock of Ages. Mr. Barry Leader. Thank you very much, Barry, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Now we'd like to introduce our female vocal soloist for this afternoon, Miss Delee Livingston. Miss Livingston is a junior at the York College in York, Pennsylvania. She'd like to sing for you now with the band George Gershwin's Summertime. Miss Delee Livingston. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Now we'd like to feature two very hard-working gentlemen in our band, the two tuba players. They are Mr. Bud Myers and Mr. Sherman Stambaugh, and they will play with the band Paul LaValle's Big Joe with the tuba. much, gentlemen, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen. For the past century, a feeling of community pride and accomplishment has been prevalent in the small village of Emigsville, York County, Pennsylvania. Emigsville is located approximately 5 miles north of the city of York. The prestige of a small community is often judged by the quality and size of its community band. It provides entertainment for church picnics, park gatherings, parades, political campaigns, and celebrations of various sorts. The community band was and is one of the most important facets of community life and brings about the togetherness of a small community. The Acme Cornet Band of Emigsville was organized on November 8, 1872, with a membership of 16 men and was in existence for 20 years. A period of 14 years passed with no band activities in this community. The Acme Cornet Band was reorganized on September 6, 1906. The first meeting was held in the engine room of the Acme Wagon Works. The records show that there were 18 charter members. The Ladies Auxiliary of the Emigsville Band plays an important part in this organization in that they cooperate with untiring efforts to sponsor 2 public turkey suppers a year, as well as catering to banquets and wedding receptions. Profits are used to maintain the band's owned band hall during the winter months. The band has established a merit system whereby 60% of the profits during the playing season are divided among the members according to the number of rehearsals and engagements the member has attended. The Acme Cornet Band of Emigsville, Pennsylvania is currently active and performing for various musical functions throughout York County. Now the band would like to continue with a trombone and trumpet duet. Our soloists are Michael Rupp and John Van Epps, and they would like to play for you George Barnard's The Pals. Thank you very much, gentlemen, and thank you for your applause, ladies and gentlemen. We'd now like to feature Mr. Lee Livingston again, singing for you Roberts and Warren's "The God of Our Fathers." Mr. Lee Livingston. Thank you very much, Miss Livingston, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Now we'd like to play for you a march by Henry Fillmore, and if you like foot-tapping marches, this is one of them. In fact, it's called the Footlifter. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who may have tuned in late, this is the Emigsville Band from York, Pennsylvania, under the direction of Mr. Marlin Ryan. Now I'd like to introduce to you a solo trombone player for this afternoon, Mr. Stephen Puff. Steve is presently a junior at the Indiana State University in Pennsylvania. He'd like to play with the band Frederick Harlow's air Varié, the old home down on the farm. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Stephen Puff. A unique heralding of joyous Christmas season occurs in the city of York, Pennsylvania, every Christmas Eve. The event, a tradition here of nearly half a century, has perhaps no counterpart in the world. At 12:15 a.m. Christmas morning, whistle master Marlin Ryan, our director of the Emigsville Band, plays carols on a factory steam whistle located atop the New York Wire Company, 441 East Market Street, to announce the arrival of Christmas Day. The whistle was never intended to be used as a musical instrument, thus making the entire performance all the more remarkable. During previous years, an estimated 7 tons of coal were used for 2 rehearsals and the concert. Oil has now replaced coal in compliance with local air pollution restrictions. On a calm night, Yorkers can hear the carols within a 5-mile radius. However, on occasions, residents at a distance of 10 to 12 miles have reported hearing the shrill sounds of Christmas. Mr. Ryan has recorded this unique Christmas Eve program on a 33 1/3 long-playing album. The album is destined to become a collector's item for Pennsylvanians. We urge you to get yours now while they last. They are on sale here in the gift shop at the William Penn Memorial Museum. Now we would like to continue our concert with a medley of Al Hirt tunes. Our soloist for this medley is trumpet player Dean Swaggart, and the medley includes Java, Sugar Lips, and Cotton Candy. Dean Swaggart. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you, Dean, for that very well-played performance. We now like to feature John Bratton's novelty number, Teddy Bear's Picnic. Now, in this number, please look, and you folks at home listen for the special effects from the percussion section. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Our special effects man there was Mr. Charlie Baker. Now we'd like to introduce to you a drum soloist, Mr. James Reindaler. Jim would like to play for you Paul Yoder's Dazzling Drums. Mr. James Reindaler. Thank you very much, Jim. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen. For our last number of this afternoon, we'd like to play for you Thomas Meehan's The City of New York March. Now, Mr. Lee Livingston will be singing with us again on this march, The City of New York. ladies and gentlemen. We thank you for your kind attention this afternoon. We've enjoyed playing for you very much. We'd like to thank especially Mrs. Morris Nemser and the Museum Commission for allowing us to come here and play for you. We'd also like to thank very much the technicians that helped with this broadcast, Doug Evans, Stanley Nelson. Most of all, we'd like to thank you for being such a kind audience, giving us applause, giving us attention. So now we bid you good day. We hope very much that we can come back and be with you again next year. For all you and the radio audience, have a pleasant day. Good afternoon.
Emigsville Band, Emigsville, Pennsylvania, just north of York, broadcasting here from the William Penn Museum. The conductor of the band is Mr. Marlin Ryan, and the announcer you heard throughout the program was John Whiteley. The concert is another in a series of public events sponsored by the Pennsylvania Historical and Museum Commission at the William Penn Museum in Harrisburg. Broadcast cost for this broadcast underwriting or underwriting cost or whatever for this concert were made possible from the Museum and Historical Commission, or Historical and Museum Commission. Fern Hedrick is the chairman. While we're still here, first I should say this is WMSP in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, 94.9 on your FM stereo dial. And while we're still here and have a few moments, things going on in the museum right now. The Universe is the planetarium show at the William Penn Museum. It's at 1:30 and 3 p.m. and you can see that next September 8th and 9th, or excuse me, September 7th and 8th next weekend. An art exhibit are nature illustrations by Ned Smith from here at the William Penn Museum's Fine Art Galleries, and that's going on through October the 6th. The art exhibit of sculpture by Leon Sitarchuk Jr. is going on in the Loggia of the William Penn Museum through October the 6th. Also, paintings by soldier artists here in the same section of the museum through October the 6th, and a photography exhibit. Their works by Sidney Tyler, William Penn Museum's Gallery E through October the 6th. Next Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock, join us live here in the museum or on the radio as we're broadcasting next week Frankie and the Polka Knights combo from the William Penn Museum's Memorial Hall. That's Sunday, September 8th at 2 o'clock, and you can hear that live on WMSP. I understand you'll be down here for that next week, Stanley. Is that true?
That's right. I'm afraid.
You're afraid. Well, it sounds like an interesting part. What'd you think of this band here this afternoon?
I thought they were very, very good. I haven't heard such good band music since I was in the Navy, and that's been a long time ago.
And the Navy has good bands. They've always had a tradition of good bands in the Navy. One thing we should point out, I think, to the listeners is that there are a lot of young people in this band. We read all the statistics about the band being around since 1906 and formed in 1872, and yet a good majority of the people in the band are teenagers, and that's very encouraging to see, I think.
Yes, they march to a different drummer a lot of times, but here they all march to the same drum, and it's very, very good.
And they are all excellent musicians. Most of the soloists that you heard, let's find just fill people in on the soloists, like the Rock of Ages soloist, Barry Leader, trumpet solo. He must have been about 20 as far as I can see, and missed going in the service, yeah.
In the Navy band, you hope next year.
Well, so there, we also have the vocal soloist, Delia Livingston. She's, well, I would say about my age, about 22. I've been noticing, never mind, we won't go into that. Also the trombone and trumpet duets, Michael Rupp and John Van Epps. They were teenagers or early 20s. I'm just taking a guess. The drum soloist, the snare drum soloist, was a young man indeed of about 12 or 13, and also the special effects soloist in the Teddy Bear's Picnic was a young man of about 10 or 11, if I'm guessing properly. So they featured a lot of the young soloists on today's broadcast, and I think that's encouraging. I know the several, well, I don't know, probably about 200 people here in Memorial Hall, all the way up onto the 4th floor planetarium level looking over the railing. There are quite a number of people who were thoroughly enjoying this live concert here in the William Penn Museum. Well, you have anything else you want to say, Stanley?
No, just goodbye, that's all.
Yeah, that's good. Well, somebody, either Stanley or I, probably Stanley, will be here next week, and someone will be here every Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock for a live broadcast here from the William Penn Museum. So for right now, we'll turn it back over to the studio, and more of Sunday Afternoon Music Hall. I'm Doug Evans with Stanley Nelson. Thank you for tuning in this afternoon from the William Penn Museum in downtown Harrisburg.